Hello, Mentor Uncut. If you're watching for the first time, my name is Daniela Blechner. I'm an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. Over the last 4 years, we've published over 80 books. I've mentored over 190 authors and aspiring authors, assisting them through the book publishing process, helping them to develop their skill set in writing, book marketing, social media, branding, public speaking, and most importantly, confidence. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so that they can have their voices shared and stories heard across the globe. So that they can educate, inspire, and empower for generations to come. Most importantly, if you're watching the show for the first time, what is it about? It's about offering a platform for up-and-coming authors, new authors, often published through Conscious Dreams Publishing, sometimes not. It's all about providing a platform for these authors, whether they're established, traditionally published, self-published, whether they've gone through the partnership publishing process, for you to really get an understanding of who they are and, most importantly, their message and their book. It's also an opportunity for budding authors to really understand the journey behind publishing a book, because it's so easy to look at a book and see it as a finished product, but not understand the whole process that goes behind it. So that's the editing, the typesetting, the cover design, the global distribution, the whole shebang, the whole journey behind it. It's also an opportunity for people who are experts within the publishing industry to share their message and for you to understand the process behind publishing a book. So whether that is interviews through from editors, typesetters, other publishers, traditional publishers, distributors, bookstores, online bookstores, please do get in contact with me, because I just want to give as much information for those who want to publish a book, for them to understand all different facets of that journey. So if you are watching, please say hello, tap the screen, show us some love. Let us know where you are watching from. There you go. Let us know where you're watching from, and please do share this broadcast out. So today I am interviewing the awesome and amazing Kelly Eastmond-Jeffrey, who has published her very first book, which is one of the first of a 6-part series. This book is called Lily Says No. I'm going to read the back for you so you get a bit of an understanding as to what it's about. Lily lives at home with her loving mum and brother. She also lives with her stepdad, Mark, who makes her feel uncomfortable. When Mark starts to make her play touching games with him, Lily tells her mum, find out why telling a trusted adult is the best thing she could ever do. Hey, break the cycle. One of the reasons that this past the submission process and we're passionate about publishing is not only is it beautifully illustrated by a 10-year-old girl called Sariyah, but because we think the message is really, really important. It's a really accessible way for parents, guardians, adults to open up a dialogue with their child, with the children that they're working with, about sexual abuse. And it's written from the perspective of a child in diary format. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring on the beautiful Kelly Eastmond-Jeffrey to explain her book in more detail. And again, this is a very interactive show. If you have any questions, please do put them up and feel free to share whatever it is that you want to share. Okay, Kelly, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm okay. How are you?
Good, thank you. How do you feel? Your book is out on the 20th of September. You have the proof copy in your hand. How does it feel to actually receive your proof copy, first and foremost?
Very, very, very overwhelming, I must say. Very, very overwhelming. But I'm happy. I'm happy that the story is finally getting out there. It's been a long time that I wrote the story. I actually wrote it not long after my first daughter was born, and she's going to be 23 in November. So it's a long time coming, wow. But it looks like it's coming out at the right time. So
100%. Tell us a little bit about you and your journey before publishing the book.
My journey, I left school with a few GCSEs and went straight into play work, voluntary work. I had my daughter when I was almost 20, and because I was a young mum, it was hard for me to find work that would work around my childcare needs. So I took my children to work with me, and I was a play worker in that's adventure playgrounds, after school clubs and stuff like that. So I came into contact with a lot of children from all different backgrounds and all different experiences. I won't say exactly because that'll be in saying their business, you know. But then I went on to forming a local community charity, which we formed shortly after CJ Hendricks was murdered in Walthamstow. And we started providing different activities, projects, day trips, workshops for all different members of the community, all different age groups. Excuse me, sorry. Then I got sick myself with my legs, and I was unable to be as active as I wanted to be. But I've always got a passion in me to help children to have a better opportunity, to have good experiences that they can look back on as they're older, you know, because a happy childhood equals a better chance of a happier adult, you know. So that was my mission, and that's what I've devoted my whole life to. And then when I got sick, I was still doing the voluntary work. I'm still doing the voluntary work, but I'm not as active. I'm not as hands-on. And then one day I was cleaning out your cupboard, as you do, declutter, and I came across the book with all my stories in there. And I just put it on my laptop there and then, and had it vowed to myself that I was going to publish them, you know. And when I was in Barbados, the end of last year to the beginning of this year, you know, when you go on holiday, you really evaluate your life and you think, okay, this is what I want to do when I come back. And I said, you know what? I'm going to publish these books. And I'm on my way. Done the first one.
What was that defining moment then that kind of made you think? What was that last thought that made you think, yeah, I'm going to do this now?
I can't help practically anymore. So if my mind and my imagination can help, then it's still helping. I'm still getting my good work out there. I'm still helping children to understand their feelings, but I'm just not hands-on with it no more. It's just a book in your hand now. But it's a book that you can treasure and you can pass down, and children can work in schools with it, you know, and library and all different kind of places that they can access the book. I'm going to touch a lot more hearts this way than I did when I was working voluntarily, basically.
Lovely.
Getting older now. I'll leave a legacy for my children, you know. So
exactly, that is the word, legacy, as well. It's the thing about, I know it sounds morbid as well, but you know, this will last way after, you know, we've passed, and it's something there that can be kept and read and to be shared and passed down by so many generations. And the message, I think, of this is really important. So what inspired you to write this particular book and share this particular message?
I've been a victim of abuse before, and I just don't want any other children to go through that. So that's what prompted me to do it, basically. I'm trying not to get emotional. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I've been a victim of abuse, and I wanted to make sure that I could glue other children up so they know this is wrong, you know, because when you're a child and you're being touched, you don't know, because you've been taught to respect your elders and to do as you're told and all the rest of it. So you don't necessarily know, you know. This book is letting children, they're reading it for themselves in their own words with their own pictures, and they can understand that this is wrong, it's uncomfortable. Let me speak up and tell someone that I can trust. You know, it's okay to speak up, you know.
I think that's a really important point that you raise. And as a teacher, I've heard so many times other teachers say, you know, listen to an adult, do whatever they say, follow instructions, you know, and it's almost this blind faith of whatever the adult says, whatever the adult does has to be correct. And there isn't that teaching or that critical thinking of, well, what's comfortable for me? What's ownership? What's consent? And I always feel really uncomfortable when I hear that, you know, and I think it's important to get children to, as uncomfortable as it is, to discuss these things and to understand these things and to understand the right that they have over their bodies. And actually, adults aren't always right or good or mean. You have the best intentions for us. And I think you've beautifully said this here in this book. So tell us, has writing always been something that you've wanted to do, or was it more that you wanted to get this message out?
I'm a Piscean by trait, so I'm very creative. I've been writing since I can remember. I've been drawing. I'm just everything art-wise, everything to do with writing, reading books, music, arts, drama, dance. I love all of that. So I've been writing from a very young age. Even at school, my teachers would say that I've got so much talent for English, for literature writing and stuff like that, that I should push myself in that. But then at the same time, when I was going to school, in secondary school, girls were always pushed to do childcare or health and social care. And so I followed that route rather than following what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Luckily, I've raised my daughters to be completely different and just go for what they want to do. So, yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. For people who are on, we've got Carol who's sending her love. Swapna says hello. Break Cycle says hello. Says you're inspiring.
Thank you
so much for watching. Please do share this out. Invite the followers. That would be amazing. This message needs to be spread far and wide. If you have just tuned in, my name is Daniela Blechner, founder of Conscious Dreams Publishing. You are watching Book Journey Mentor Uncut, interviewing the awesome and amazing Kelly Eastmond-Jeffrey, who is releasing her book, Lily Says No. There you go, beautiful illustrations done by 10-year-old Sariyah. One of the 6-part series, which is coming out on the 20th of September. So you tell this story from the perspective of Lily. Tell us a little bit about Lily in terms of character. What's she like?
To be honest with you, I don't think I really perceived Lily as a character. I wrote her as a character, but this is where Sariyah comes in. Okay. Because I read the book to Sariyah and I said to her, I want you to create Lily because you're a child and this is a story for your age group. So you read the story and you create the character how you think she should look. And so how Lily is and all the love yourself stuff, that's all Sariyah. None of that is anything to do with me. I was just the story writer. She designed Lily. She designed Lily.
When you write love yourself, there's a little detail here, I don't know if you can see. Quilt. A quilt says love yourself. And I think that's beautiful I can't see my finger here, but you get the idea. Oh yeah, it's all backwards. Yeah, you get the idea. It's beautiful actually that I didn't know that Sariyah actually came up with that, and it adds that layer to the character and the message. So it is about loving yourself and understanding that these are my boundaries and I put myself first. What I also love about this was Kelly's lovely idea of having it in a diary format. So you'll see here, it's like it's on little pieces of a diary. So in terms of you writing that in that way, was that intentional?
Yes, because I wanted it to be told from her point of view, not an outsider looking in at her story, trying to tell her story for her. So I wanted it to be read like it's Lily talking to you. So that's why, and that's why the diary format works so well, along with the pictures as well, you know. So it just really shows the age of the person who's telling the story more so, I believe.
Yeah, lovely. That's one of the things we love about the book, actually. Tell, for people who don't know anything about the book at all, maybe they've just tuned in and missed the blurb, tell us a little bit from your own words. What is the book about? What's the story about?
Okay, Lily Says No is a story about a little girl who lives with her older brother and her mum who's expecting a baby. And the mum is with a man who is not Lily's father. And as we all know, through pregnancy, sometimes it can get really hard. Mothers get tired and other people have to take on the role that the mother does. In this instance, the boyfriend of the mother takes on the tucking in bedtime routine. And during that routine, he molests her. And she's not comfortable with it. She lets it go along for a little while, but then eventually she does speak up with successful results for her. And a very good message for children that you don't have to worry about the reaction because it's not your fault why it's happening. An adult knows what an adult is doing. The child doesn't know. So it's not the child's fault. So that's a very big message in the book. And and just letting them know other avenues that they can go. They can contact Childline or someone at school, and what the law says that the school people at school have to do, or anyone, an adult that they disclose it to. Because at the end of the day, all adults have a duty of care to the welfare of a child. So it's just really about that. It's just telling it from Lily's point of view, but it doesn't say those words, you know. And it was important. Sorry, it was important for me not to have very descriptive information about what he was doing to her, because it's a child's book. And I believe as well, it's the same with in education when they're pushing sexual education onto younger children. And there's a lot of parents up in arms about it because they feel that their child's not quite ready for that yet. And that's why this book doesn't have a very descriptive information about what exactly he does to her. But there's key words in the story that makes the imagination know without having to say the words. But then that's for the child then to turn around and say, well, mum or dad or auntie, uncle, nanny, whatever, what does that mean? Or why was he doing that? Or, and then that gives you the opportunity as the parent or the guardian to explain to the child in an appropriate way for that child's development and that child's level of understanding at the age. It's not pushing too much information, but it's raising questions so that you can then research and do more. So you tell your child at your own pace or at your child's own pace. It's not pushing the information directly in the face and traumatizing the child straight away, you know?
100%.
So it's like that.
Because obviously it's a great way to kind of break. I mean, what age group, before I go to that, what age group would you say that this is for in terms of children?
Well, I would say Lily's about 6, but
right.
I would say, or I think she's 6 or 7. Let me have a look.
Just let me just consult my book.
7, yeah, 7.
So I was going to say that in terms of the way it's written, it's really simple and easily. Hey, Joanna. Really simple and easily accessible, and the fact that it doesn't need to have that description, but it's enough to say using words like comfortable, touching, to show.
Yeah, you could take it in preschool. You could do it like end of preschool up to infants, but it's really about the children and what level they're at in understanding these things, really, and how much it's up to you how much you actually divulge to the child, because it hasn't got it in the book. It's just got a hint of it. You know, so it could be really from any child age group, from preschool, primary school, right up to secondary school, because there are some children in secondary school that are not quite forward with their reading skills and their understanding skills, and also with special needs and stuff that may not be able to actually fully comprehend it. So it could go right all the way through. Yeah.
And how important do you think it is for parents, guardians, adults, trusted adults in care, to really have these open dialogues with young people of this age? Do you think it should be, you know, just for children who've experienced this, or do you think it's a subject that needs to be spoken about in general?
Everyone should get it. It's not just about people who may have been abused or may have had a hint of something like that. It's for everyone, because it's preventative. It's a preventative book. So rather than you're in it, or you can read it and you know that you're in it, but if you're already in it and you read this book is not really telling you anything new, because you're already in it. You've already experienced it. So the book is just telling you exactly, oh, I know what that, because I've had that and I've had, so you realize, okay, there's a story here that's exactly my life. And maybe in that way it helps that child. But I think it more so helps children in general, just to know that their body is their private space, you know, and nobody has a right to touch them in a way that makes them feel uncomfortable. So this book really highlights that, you know, every child needs to read it, and every parent needs to buy it for their child. All parents, go out and buy this book.
Lily says no.
Yeah.
So Alona, I think it is, says, Kelly Eastmond-Jeffrey, you are an amazing writer. Sariyah says, we are more than mothers, we can be anything we dream. Correct, indeed. So in terms of this, in terms of those who have gone through this and experienced this, what role would you say that guilt and shame have on young people when they experience this, and how does it manifest itself?
Makes you very insecure and it's hard. It's like instead of taking 2 steps to go forward, you have to take 4 because you're so unsure of yourself. I'm talking about myself. I can't speak for everyone because everyone has different reactions, but it does slow you down because it's a mental thing. Is even though it's sexual abuse is a physical abuse, it's a mental abuse, you know, because it can create promiscuity as well. It can confuse you as to what relationships actually are, and believing everything somebody says all the time and being so naive in certain situations that you can fall into so many different traps, and people will take advantage of you. Even as an adult, people will take advantage of you because you haven't clued it up in your head. So it's very important to have these discussions from a young age, teenage age, whatever. There's no discrimination on age, but it's better if you start from young so you can drum it in their head from young, you know, same way that they drummed it in our heads from we were young, that we mustn't tell tales and stuff like that, even though it's not a tale, it's real, but because you're speaking about somebody else, it becomes a tale, you know. You need to be able to open up and speak and be confident to speak about what's going on, because living with abuse from a child going into an adult, it can really mess up your head. And I'm surprised that I'm here, and I'm surprised that I've written this book, and I'm surprised I got 5 more and then a load more after that to publish. But I'm here. I'm living proof. I'm testament. You can get out of it and you can make your life better. You know, it might not come straight away. It might not come when you're young. It might come when you're older, but you just keep pushing for your dreams and you can get there. Positive mental attitude. You can get there. I got there. I've got 2 children.
Very inspirational to the children that you work with. I'm sure those who've worked with you miss you, and I'm sure they're still in contact, and I'm sure you have made a massive impact. Tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've done with young people.
Some work. Okay, we've done a fashion project. We done with my community charity, which is called Leighton Community Action. We did a fashion project for girls, which was linked in with another organization called, I won't name drop right now, but we done a program where we done it called Know Your Worth. So we was talking to girls because there was in the area that we was working in, there was a lot of gang violence, especially like stuff to do with gang sexual things and stuff. And the girls were not very confident within themselves. So we brought them aside and we done workshops with them so that they can learn to love themselves again and to be able to speak with each other about their different experiences and stuff like that. And from that as well, we also linked that to the fashion project, whereby we ran that for, I think it was 2 or 3 years running, where we had the girls come in and learn how to make their own clothes, how to measure their own clothes. For each project, they done 3 outfits each, and then we done massive fashion shows after. And that was a great achievement for all the girls that took part, and for me and the community.
I'd love to do that.
Thank you. It's really nice. So we've done film projects, but we merged different age groups. So we had young people teaching the elderly people how to use the filming equipment, and they were making films. And then we had a massive filming screening event where we had the local mayor and all the rest of it come down, and it was nice. It was nice. So that's the kind of work I've done, including stuff like carol singing in residential homes for the elderly, so that they don't feel they've been left out, because a lot of elderly people, when they go and live in residentials, everyone forgets about them because they're being cared for. So we would go in every Christmas and sing and speak to some of the residents and let them know that they're still valuable parts of the community and stuff. So it's really, that's the kind of person I am, really. I just, community unity. Yeah.
Community unity. I love that. Thank you.
Thank
Jazz,
you.
there's a great positive message. We can overcome anything with that attitude. That's right.
Thank you.
So going back to obviously the theme of your book, what would you say for teachers, parents, people who are caring for young people? What would be some of the signs of children who are going through sexual abuse?
Excuse me. I think every child's different, but I think they would isolate themselves, go quiet, not wanting to be a part of the family, being more the outsider of the family, even not, doesn't matter how much the parents try and draw them in there, just they don't feel a part, you know. Self-harming, trying to think, promiscuity, willing to jump on strangers' laps, sit down on strangers' laps, and very cozy and comfortable around men and stuff like that. I can't really say any more than that because I don't know about everybody else's, but I'm just saying from my own and from what I've seen with other children. Promiscuity, and isolation.
What advice would you give to adults who suspect or may think that they don't have any concrete evidence that there's something amiss with the child that they're working with or their own child? What's the best way for them to go about really tackling what may be going on?
My book. Sorry. That's a hard one. I think maybe introducing them to some form of material that's got some form of abuse in it would be a good point. Maybe a movie or a short clip of a film or something they can see visually themselves and hear. And then just ask them if they know anyone that's gone through something like that. So it's not necessarily directing at them, but do you know anyone? Or how do you feel about that? Do you think just asking questions and seeing, seeing how they react to it? If they're very quiet and they don't want to say anything, then maybe that's a cause for concern that maybe it's them. And in that sense, maybe it's a chance of maybe asking people around them or just watching them with a more closer eye to see if you can see any signs or any interactions with anybody, if it's a bit iffy and whatnot. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm babbling. I'm not 100%.
No, not at all. That's I'm just if you're watching and you think Kelly's babbling, seriously, do you think she's babbling? Because I don't think you're talking to really good insight here. Because some people don't have any experience with this at all. They might suspect, they might not, have a clue, and they wouldn't know how to broach it. And a lot of people, and coming from a teaching background, I've seen a lot of it, and what you're saying is synonymous to what we've been told. But I know that there must be adults out there who just will not say anything or not know what to do or say at all. So I think what you're offering is really valuable.
I think as well that we've got to also get out of this mentality with the adults that they pretend it's not happening. They need to stop doing that because you're not protecting the children. You're just protecting your own self-image or the image of your family or your friends or whoever. A child is the most important. It's a blessing, so you have to protect the children. So and I think there's a lot of people in families or in environments, not necessarily families, but in environments where they have an inkling that something might be going on, but they haven't pushed forward with it because they don't want to they don't want it to be too much. No, push forward with it. If you're wrong, it doesn't matter. At least you try to safeguard that child.
That's right.
But if you're right and you didn't do anything, you've done nothing to save that child. So just speak up regardless whether you think it's happened, whether you've got concrete evidence or not. If you suspect a child is being abused in any way, shape or form, just speak up. Because even if you're wrong, it's fine. The child is safe. But if you're right and you do nothing, that child is not safe. Not safe at all.
That's a really important message. Thank you. Break Cycle says, difficult subject. How do you begin in this type of conversation, especially if they haven't experienced it or know about this type of stuff? Yeah.
I love
No. Start the conversation.
Yeah, this starts the conversation. Buy this book. Yeah. I'm not just plugging it because it's my book. I do believe it. I do believe in the way that it's written because your child will read the book and then the child will say, well, what does that mean? Or what? And that's how you get in the conversation, Also, another way to get into the conversation, if you think back when we were smaller, we had all those body books where this is your private parts and this is that. Look at some of those. There's a few books like that. I do believe Ilona, who commented earlier, she got a couple books for her children that were describing the body and different, like the development of the body and what happens if someone touches you and stuff like that. So there's a lot of those kind of informative books out there that I just don't know of any with a story like mine that does that. But everything else is more informative for adult reading or for the child age group that it says on the book to read, you know. There's a lot of material out there, but I think the most important thing is, first and foremost, is to teach your children about their bodies, you know, and show them that, okay, your arms, you can show your arms as much as you want, you can show your legs as much as you want, but this and this and this, no, that's private. Only you see that, or only mummy or daddy see that, but nobody else. And nobody should make you feel uncomfortable. If someone's ever touched you in those ways, or any way that makes you feel like, oh, I didn't like that, then you speak up and you tell someone that you know you can trust, because that person that you know you can trust can stop that from happening to you. And I think probably that's one of the best ways. I mean, I think that's how I kind of taught my daughters, you know, don't let anyone trouble your business. That's what I told them. So, yeah. And so far,
even
so
as adults.
yeah, yeah, even as adults. Yeah.
What are your plans for this book? Where would you like to see it go, and what impact would you like it to have?
I would like to see my book go all over the world. I would like to see my book in libraries, schools, children's centres, social services departments, hospitals, doctors, the whole works.
If you're watching and you're a part of a school, you've got links to social services, links to hospitals. Get in touch with Kelly, and Lily says no.
Yeah. If you would like to contact me directly as well regarding schools, libraries, colleges, whatever, you can email me at booksbykej@gmail.com with the information, and then I will get on to everyone and get plugging, really. So thank you for
what Kelly's going to do at the end of this is she's just going to put a link to the book in the comments afterwards, and how you can contact her as well. So do make use of that resource too, and please do share this out and share any posts about this book as well. And if you know anybody who can benefit from this book, please do share this with them. Let's talk a little bit about the process of publishing a book, because I know you're very new to this. This is the first time publishing a book. I know that you love writing. You've got 6 and another series coming. So those who haven't published a book, tell us a little bit about the process. How was it for you?
It was all right. I think I was getting on Danny's nerves a bit, but I think
no,
I'm joking. I'm a bit particular with details, aren't I?
I think, what was it? The font. Kelly's like me. One of my posts, because we're releasing books at a very similar time. My book's coming out next week. I spent 3 weeks stalling about trying to get the right font for my cover. And Kelly's was getting the right font.
Yeah.
But I understand. I get it. I'm on the same wavelength, and I'll keep going until it's right, until it's how you want it. So,
it'll be as perfect in your eyes as you can. You want it to pop up a certain way, don't you? So the publishing process, I think, was all right. It wasn't too bad, was it? It was good. It's just me, my particularism, and not being so computer savvy as I would have liked to be at the beginning, you know. But I found ways to get around it. And I'm ready to bang out the next 5 books much quicker than Lily says no, though, by the way, Danielle. I'm going to have you working hard. You know this, right?
Come on. It's a 90-day process, guys. We've done it in 90 days.
Yeah.
But, tell us, how did it feel to hold this when it came through the post? How did it feel when you had this here in your hand? You were like, oh my gosh, I did this.
You know what? It turned up. And I was literally like, okay, my book's here. I looked at it and then I just put it down and I pretended like it was like another day, like it was normal.
What?
Yeah, I did. I'll be honest with you. I was like, okay, I don't know what mood I was in that day. I just literally, okay, it's here, put it down. I didn't even look inside. I didn't even look at it properly or anything.
How come?
I didn't. And then later on, that's when I looked. I was like, okay, got my book now. Okay, right. But then I tell you what it was. It was a case of when the post started going up on Facebook,
right?
And when people started commenting, Then I was like a nervous wreck. I'm so overwhelmed. Like I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm crying every 2 minutes. Like, even today before we came on here, and I was sitting down for a little while, and I was like, oh my gosh, the tears are coming. Kelly, fix up, Kelly. Don't do it, don't, because I'm quite an emotional person. You know, it's very overwhelming. It's a nice overwhelming though. Like I've said, anybody ask me, but you should be proud of that. Yeah, I'm proud, but when you're not used to getting praise, and when you're not used to being that, you're not used to all of that. You're not used to the niceness all the time, you know? Like I just go about my day. I don't really bother with people too much. I keep myself to myself. I have my family and my friends, and I do love to socialize. Everything that's in there is the truth. But day to day, I'm by myself a lot. So to have all of those overwhelming messages, oh, I'm so proud of you. And it's like, oh, they're so proud of me. Oh my gosh. It's like, oh, I felt so overwhelmed, and I still do. Anytime people share posts and there's all this love around, and it just feels amazing. It feels so lovely. It strengthens my soul, basically. Wow. It strengthens my soul.
Making me feel emotional, man. I'm just Sagittarius in this.
Well, you know.
She's a Pisces, so she's the emotional one, whereas I'm like, come on, let's get things done. And now you got me emotional. What's going on?
I'm rubbing it in.
But when I have shared this out, what have you done? So when I have shared this out, when you shared it out, the amount of times that I've seen the post being shared and people saying this is really timely and it's a really important message, and especially the fact that it's, you know, focusing on the subject, but not only that, when we do see books like this, you don't often see it from, you know, a perspective where the main character is, you know, a young Black girl, and again, it's about that identity, it's that relating to, you know, culturally as well, and I think that's been quite prevalent in the feedback that people have given when they've commented on there. So yeah, expect more of it. You deserve it. It's an important message. It's a much needed book. It's beautifully done. And you should be proud of yourself. And you can still be a Pisces as well at the same time and feel emotional and overwhelmed. It's good.
Well, if we do the book launch, I'm gonna the proper, like not the online one, but when we can come outside in the open and be with each other again.
We're allowed out.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm dreading it. Right? If anyone gets it for me, that's the time to come for me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like, I'll try.
You'll love it. Break Cycle says, this is brilliant. My daughter and I are writing her first book. So excited to hear the process to publish. Nice. Yeshuva says, glad this is being discussed. Monique's giving you some hand claps. Thank you so much. If anyone's got questions, please do throw those questions up. We've got another 5 minutes. But tell us, what is the best way to connect with you? I know you've given your email address, which you'll put in the comments. How else can people connect with you?
I'm on Instagram as well. I'm going to set up a Facebook page. I do have one, but that is my personal. I'm going to set up a Facebook page specifically for my books, but I do have an Instagram page for my books, and it's under the same as my Gmail account, which is Books by Kedge.
Cool.
Pardon me?
I said, cool, that's great, because I've done a few posts and I didn't think you were on Instagram, so I'll tag you in. But yeah,
I'm on Books by Kedge, and Books by Kedge, which is just my initials, basically KEJ, on Instagram, and my email account is the same, but at gmail.com. So
perfect.
I'll sort out the Facebook one. As soon as I sort out the Facebook one, I'll upload it so everybody can know what it is.
Lovely. Tell us very briefly, what is the next book? I know you've got 5 others and then another series.
Yeah, the next. Okay, so Sariyah has done Lily Says No. Sariyah's 10 years old. So as you can see, I have children illustrators for my books. So Sariyah done Lily Says No. I have a different illustrator for my next book. My next book is called Melissa's First Day, and the illustrator for that is Kelly Eastmond, who is my niece. She's at college at the moment studying art, and she's so good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how
old is she?
Day comes out. 18.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah. So Melissa's First Day, a brief summary, is about a girl who starts a new school after a death in the family, and she's bullied. So you'll have to tune in for that book to see what happens with that, because I'm not telling you anymore.
Kelly, thank you so much. What are your parting words to somebody who really wants to publish a book and knows it's a children's book, they've got a powerful message to share, but they're just sitting on it and they're going, oh, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know, I'm going to read it. Am I good enough? I'm not used to this praise. I feel overwhelmed. What would you say to me? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to them?
I would say, don't doubt yourself, because you are able to achieve everything and anything you put your mind to. Keep your mind in a positive state and push for your dreams, because it's really not as hard as you think it may be. I did it. Single mum of 2 children, volunteered my whole life, haven't really got much to show for my life, but my experience and my good children, and of course my books, which there's a lot more of, like, and just go for it. Just go for it. Don't listen to anyone that's trying to pull you back. Just go for it. I want to see your name in lights next to mine.
Oh, Kelly, thank you so much. It's been amazing speaking with you. Kelly will put her details up on the in the comments, a link to the book. Please go and buy the book. Please support. Please tell people if you've got links to schools, colleges, social services, libraries, hospitals. Please let them know about this book and connect them with Kelly as well. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us as well. And thank you, Daniela. Thank you.
No problem.
Then you see I'm repping.
Yeah, I should have the Jamaican flag in the background.
I'm repping. Hello.
Okay, Paul, so nice to see you. So please go out and get Lily Says No. This is a really important book. I'm going to pass this on to Miami Ray, who is, I'm going to connect you with her mother. She is our 8-year-old book reviewer. She's got a YouTube channel where she reviews all children's books. And there you go. It's coming out.
I just want to show something real quick. This is my illustrator. This is her self-portrait. This is what all my illustrators have. They make a self-portrait of themselves and they speak about themselves. So you get a real chance of seeing exactly who created these books. And it puts them on the map too. I'm pushing young people up whilst I'm making mine. So it's all good.
That is it. And if you're a young illustrator and you want to be an illustrator of one of Kelly's 12, 100, 1,000 books.
It's right to say that. There's more coming.
There's more. So join us next week where, oh my gosh, next week is going to be my interview. This is so strange. Yeah. So next week, my book is launching. It's called Lockdown Life. Ingrid Matthews is going to be interviewing me on this channel. Please join. You can join via Zoom or on Facebook. Really excited about it. Kelly, you need to do an online book launch because it's all about online right now. Yes, 2021, we're going to have in-person live events where we'll celebrate, have 1-2 glasses of something and have a little, enjoyment and celebration. But for now, it's going to be online book launches. So do join us. And I'm sure Kelly will let us know the details when she chooses to do an online book launch as well. So see you next week, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST for the next episode of Book Journey Mentor Uncut. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.